So dear children, in our last video we have discussed about meaning and definition of accounting. With that discussion we can say that we can understand what is the nature, attribute or characteristic of accounting. So as we have discussed, the first character of accounting is an art as well as science. We have already discussed that why it is an art. Accounting is an art because it is a technique. And under this subject we learn some technique of recording, technique of classifying, technique of preparing financial statement, techniques of analyzing and interpreting the data. So this is accounting is an art as well as science. Science, we say science because accounting is based on some rules, regulations and some principles and concepts. So while an accountant records any business transaction, he has to observe all the principles and concepts related to that particular point, that particular transaction. So accounting is an art as well as science. This is the first characteristic of accounting. Second characteristic of accounting is it records only financial transaction. As we have discussed that as an accountant, you have to identify the business transaction, and that business transaction which is based on the two qualification we have discussed, that is the transaction should have a financial character and can be expressed in terms of money. If a business transaction which is having a financial character in the sense that it financially affect the business, right? So it should have, business transaction should have a financial character and it can be expressed in terms of money. So if these qualification qualifies by the transaction, then it is treated as a business transaction and accountant will measure it in terms of money and record it in the journal. So second and third is all about that. It records financial transaction and in terms of money, right? Any transaction which may affect the business financially, but if it cannot be expressed in terms of money, so that transaction won't be recorded in accounting as accounting records. This can be said it's a limitation because there are some transactions like suppose any manager of the business has retired and in his place a new manager has been recruited. So suppose that manager who has retired, when he was in the business, his leadership, his efficient way of working gives production maybe 1000 unit per day. But a new manager comes into the business and he's not efficient like that. So business loses the production level, loses its production level and as well as its revenue. So although it affects the business financially, but the efficiency of a manager cannot be expressed in terms of money because it's a subjective phenomenon, right? So so qualitative information cannot be recorded in the accounting. So these are the two characteristics, means it records only financial transaction and it records the financial transaction in terms of money. Second thing, after recording the transaction, it classify those transactions which has been recorded in the journal, classifying them same type of same character, same nature of transaction, put it under one heading, like throughout the year businessman has made so many purchase of goods so many times, so that should be put under the one account, that is purchase. By preparing this purchase account, we get to know at the end of the year what is the total purchase made by the account by the business. So it classify the business transaction in events. After classification, we the accounting, in accounting it is gets summarized in the form of trial balance and financial statement, which leads the, after preparing the financial statement, we get to know about the net profit and net loss, as well as the financial position of the business. On the basis of those results, what we get by preparing financial statement, we accounting analyzes and interprets those results and communicate those results to the users of accounting. Whosoever having a stake in the business, they use these accounting information for their decision making for the future. So with this is all about the characteristic or nature of the business, nature of the accounting.